Good morning. A subscriber friend has asked me to have a go at splitting the garden into areas and doing a little explanation when I can, if I remember what I've planted, just to give a little descriptive monologue on what I've planted and the garden in general. So, I'm starting here down at what I call rather grandly the Grove. This is because we have citrus and olives planted. This area was the absolute worst part of the garden to deal with. We moved we bought the house in August 2016 and I started slowly planting bits and pieces. So here we go. This is the Grove, where we have two yuccas at the entrance at the bottom of the steps. I've got agapanthus along this edge here, which eventually, hopefully, will grow and flower. This area was another dreadful area, which sort of just evolved. Most of it now has got stock in it, which I just threw seeds about. I've just planted a few other things recently. The green bits over here are Acanthus mollis Hallard's Gold. What else? Let's just see. I've got so many bits and pieces. This is a geranium, as in a real geranium, not a pelargonium. I've got some baby foxgloves planted just recently. This is a little seat that I generally at times have a little rest on. Where are we? Again, in this bed, lots of stock. There was dahlias, and of course we've got the daisies. We've got a little bird bath which was bought locally from an elderly lady who does mosaics. I've got some scabious here, which again were little bits just from a mother plant and just plonked in the ground. And I've recently, under the baskets, put a couple of asters. Sorry, heleniums are under there, both those places. Again, recently planted, but I haven't got the name with me at the moment. Now, over here is one of my sad citrus trees. I think it's the Lisbon. Yes, Lisbon. What happened originally when I planted the citrus and the olives, the bunnies and possums had a wonderful time stripping off bark. The olives were okay, but the citrus were in a bad way. But I've tried to bring them back, which I think I have. I'll show you them in a minute. This little row of Rosemary Tuscan Blue were cut from cuttings. The grass is Dahlias. I think it's Dahlias again. We're just divided from other bunches. Now this is the first of the Tinea, which is I think they're sun roses they're called. They have a tiny deep pink red rose which the bees adore. Of course at the moment they're not open, we're at the end of autumn and there's no sun. But these were the first ones I planted down here. This area was dreadful. It still is full of stone and rock. I planted these as little 2 inches and I never thought they would take. But my goodness, they were the most successful in the garden in the most horrendous conditions. What happened though, of course, the idea was for them to cover the ground out down here, which was fine in itself, except then I started to plant. So that didn't work, but my husband quite happily cuts them into various shapes so we can keep the pathways open. And the bees adore it when they're in flower. Now, one of the recent additions have been these Yuccas, which literally were cut from other plants and stuck in the ground, and they actually took. So they should look quite nice as a border in the future. I think my husband was more amazed than I was that they actually struck. He couldn't believe it. But I had every confidence. And here we've got the Aptenia again. This area is very much the wild side, and we throw a lot of the cuttings down here, the prunings, and we get little self-seeders every now and again of the cosmos, etc. Now, round here is the first of three manzanilla olives. This one catches the wind a lot, but I'm very happy with these. And I have some little iris down here which I transplanted, so hopefully they will come up this winter spring. I've got catmint, nepeta planted bits and places, some sedum autumn glory. Now this is one of my very sad mandarins. I am not sure which one it is, but my goodness, the possums and rabbits had a field day, but I seem to have rescued it. I've got two mandarins, one imperial, one emperor. Not sure now which one is which. We've got some lavender at the back. I think it's the little Spanish lavender. More nepeta. I just tend to plonk things in. An aloe vera just recently plonked in. This is a Kalamata olive, which I see has been swayed by the wind, but I think it'll be all right, and it might add some character. And it grows. This is a salvia. I think it's black knight. More Aptenia with some little French lavenders. This is my other, I've got a label, my other mandarin. Oops, if I can read the label. This is the imperial. This is the imperial, which is doing much better than the other one. But very pleased I was able to salvage these. This is Rosemary Tuscan Blue, another one which the bees adore and gets them through the winter. It's amazingly successful for that. This is a little row of Rosemary officinalis, again from cuttings, and it's doing quite well. These are three recently planted Italian pines, which I'm hoping will add that little Mediterranean touch when they grow. Where are we? This is a manzanilla olive. Oops. This one's doing very well as it's more protected from the wind. And again, the Aptenia. Now I've got a little newly planted olive over here. Which one is it? Lecino. The Lecino one. These little ones haven't done so well to start, but I'm hoping for better things later. This is another, I think, Lisbon lemon, again, which was attacked at all sides, but we've managed to save it. This is the Is it the Mexican Marigold? I think that's what it's called. Yeah, I think so. Sorry. And Salvia. These are the Dahlias. Sorry, this is the one, the Dahlias. Again, all just taken from old plants and just plunked in. Again, this is autumn, so I've done a lot of clip back and recently mulched, so these are verbenas which have just been cut back. A salvia. This is one of the asters again. I'm sorry, I haven't got the name. This is a Russian sage, which I've planted heaps of and have never had any success, hence the basket to see if it can survive. There's a little rose under here. Sorry, I should be better prepared with the names of things. Little bits of rosemary. This is the African blue basil, which is a few potted about the garden. Another one. Another French lavender. Scadioso. I think this is a sage down here. And these are the newly potted Osmanthus. I've started putting things into pots due to the house being on the market. And I don't want to leave everything here for the next owner. So, which hopefully there will be one, although I'll be very sorry to leave this. But needs must. No point in having all your money in a house at this age. These are two little calamondons, which have done very well and will be repotted up at some stage. I think you have to repot citrus in spring. This is a little mixed colander planting. Wasn't getting much use in the kitchen, so I brought it out here. Almonds. Now this is a little bay tree, which appears now at last to be showing signs of life. And I've got little English lavenders planted around them. This little row of Dahlias again. This was put here before the paths were defined, so it probably looks a little strange, but it seems to work. Now this area is a rather, well, unsuccessful to a point, although it's a work in progress. It was supposed to be my little prairie garden. I just love Pete Udolph, his plantings, but I thought I had an ideal spot as the soil is dreadful. But I've just mulched now with mushroom compost, so I'll probably change it slightly. There's a little fig tree here. Again, after about 3 years, it's showing signs that it might actually grow. I've got some more, where are we? Verbena here. One of the little rosemaries. And I'm not sure what else is here. Some grasses and a little daylily. More Aptenia. One of the grasses. There used to be an apple tree in here, but again I didn't protect it, and something kept coming along, and every time a new leaf sprouted they'd eat it, and finally it was dead. So it's all ready for another planting. I think I might put a crab apple in there. This is a white buddleia. Again, sorry, I don't know the name. This is an agapanthus. I've got various grasses, and this is a surviving apple tree, again, which was being attacked from all sides, but I finally got around to putting a cage, and this one seems to be coming back all right. This is a bird of paradise, not being very tropical at the moment. So that's basically my first attempt at just giving a little commentary around my little garden. Hopefully you like, excuse me, it's worked, and you'll have to forgive my poor narrative. But it's the first time, and I said I didn't like being on air, but here we go. And we'll see how we go in the future. And as the time goes, I'll take little notes and try and be a little bit more informative of what is actually planted. Have a lovely day. Take care and be alert.